It's been a wild ride. Honestly, ever since I, decided to really, dig my heels into Bitcoin, it's just been great.
Yeah.
Mainly because of the people that you get to listen to. The interesting thing about Bitcoin is that it draws people that are able to take multiple different fields and sort of like think about them holistically rather than just, have their own little special subject that, be their own little expert, which is, great. If some people are like that, that's very important. But, the world is really complicated and interconnected. And if you only look at it from like one perspective, you can get the wrong idea of what's actually happening. And it's, really you want to contrast, fields with the fields that are adjacent to them. Like energy, for example, is adjacent to macroeconomics and is adjacent to like geopolitics. And so if you want to understand energy, you also kind of want to understand how macroeconomics works, how, what does the geopolitical landscape work? And the reason why, I bring this up is because Bitcoin itself is multidisciplinary. It's interdisciplinary, meaning that if you want to understand it, you need to, for sure, first understand how software works. To understand how software works, you need to understand how computers work. And you also want to understand how, security works. And that's just the beginning. And if you just understand that, you can get a good idea for like how literally what Bitcoin is and how it literally works. But you also want to understand, the context that Bitcoin exists in. That's, we find ourselves in 2023. We have US dollars, the dollar is the dominant currency in the world. Right now, the CPI print, just came out at 6.5%, which is, higher than what the people at the Federal Reserve would like it to be. So their idea is that they'll raise interest rates, make everything expensive, get everybody fired from their jobs so they don't have as much money to buy things. And then hopefully that will bring down inflation. I guess it's working. Because it did come down like the previous month, it was like at 8-something%. So seems to be working. Hopefully it, works. Having inflation sucks. Bitcoin exists in this world, and also it exists, in a world where you have people and people have their own incentives. And those incentives are, usually driven by some sort of self-interest or self-preservation.
That's super important there. What you mentioned with just like the individual, that's a really important philosophy within Bitcoin. But before that, you had brought up, this need to understand. And we go around to these conferences, and we feel really high on top of the world. And then we talk.
When we were there.
Yeah, when we're there, you and I, and we're going to Miami, and we're going to these different places. And then we're just like hit in the face with people who know way more than us.
Oh, yeah.
And people who, like you're saying, have been taking that time to kind of grasp how everything is interconnected. And you get that so much in the Bitcoin mining industry.
Oh, yeah.
Like from my perspective of working with logistics and procuring, parts and, the business that goes now globally with other countries and understanding how that works and knowing when my forwarder is going to give me the best deal, and all the nuances to that. So it's an important aspect because a lot of the times when people are really passionate about something, they feel this need to want to convince people to be like, I need to go out there and I need to make sure everyone knows. Yeah. And when you do that, you just get like absolutely like shat on. Like everyone will give you every reason why they don't fall into that. So what I really, like about having you here, and I think to our conversations over the year, is that, you ignore that noise, you ignore those people, and you focus just on understanding and learning more.
Yeah. The thing is that everyone's always trying to get you to join their thing. We're social creatures, and when someone joins like your thing, that's like a form of validation. It sort of like validates your beliefs. It's like, you're not alone. It's at least one more person. And like getting one more person into the party just sort of like makes you feel better. It's like, sort of like why being an influencer is so popular. It's like I've all these followers, that just want to listen to what I have to say, and that's self-validating. I mean, religion is like this. People would always try to get more people into their religion because it validated their religious beliefs.
Or cult, in the case of cryptocurrency.
Or Ponzi's.
Thinking of last January when we went to that.
Oh yeah, the NFT
strange,
party,
like mystic NFT party.
The Doge NFT. No,
they made like the samurai Doge, and they had us like in the prayer circle. They had like no alcohol. They were forcing us to engage in this like cultish experience. You get the religious experience for sure.
I mean, the only good thing about that party was the pizza. That was a big regret going there, but at least the pizza was very good.
Yeah, true.
Like actually good. But anyways, no, I mean, and also it makes it like better. Like language, for example, the more people you get into the language, the more useful it is. That's why learning English, is so valuable to people that don't live in, the United States or, those English-speaking countries.
Yeah.
If you live in South America and you learn English, a whole world of opportunity is now at your fingertips. Especially with the internet. So everyone's always trying to get more people into their thing, but so are other people. And so everyone's always competing to get other people into their thing. It's just tiresome, people, especially now with like multi-level marketing schemes and like the crypto Ponzi's, it just gets so tiring. And people really learn about Bitcoin and, why it's important at their own pace. It's not really like something you can really force on people, especially here in the United States or in the West, where the financial system does actually work and where people do actually have property rights and rule of law. It's not a need or a must-have for them. Like other things are a must-have. And so they focus on those and they don't have enough time to like really learn about Bitcoin. So it's, for the most part, if you're, like an American or, even living in Europe, it's not really worth it to try to like go out of your way to explain Bitcoin to people. Like if people ask, they're curious, you can kind of give them like a little synopsis and, just give them like a bullet list. And then if, they're hungry for a little more, it's all on the internet, so just go and spend your time reading it. You don't have to get it from me. You can just get it. There's tons of YouTube videos and like amazing books, and podcasts, people on different social medias you can follow. Hopefully you're following the right people and not like scammers. That's often something that can go wrong is like, oh, I'm following this guy and he said this. And it's like, well, that guy's wrong and is either confused or trying to confuse you. But for the most part, it's just about, for myself, just knowing what I'm doing, and how I'm spending my time and what's important to me. So I don't, if other people have other stuff going on, do that instead.
Yeah, 100%. And it's taken a little bit of time to get to that point. But I definitely feel like that is just like, it's a more peaceful kind of resolution to your own life, to your own personal goals. You
want to like impress yourself, not for other people's sake, but for your own sake. If your sense of self-worth is dependent on other people, that's a really bad position to be in because you can't control other people. You can't control what they think of you, but you can control yourself. And, if you're happy with your progress, that's really all that matters. Trying to get other people to like care about you and stuff, that's just a good recipe for misery. Because people are weird. They have their own self-interest. They have other things, that are important to them, take up their time. And, spending your energy on making them happy is not that good of a way to spend time, unless they're like a, good family friend or good family or friend. like someone really important that you care about, that's a little bit different. But just like, random people on the internet, like, who cares? Like, you don't know anything about them. It could be like the weirdest person ever, or just someone dumb, And it's like, why would you waste your time arguing with them? It's just not worth it. Just, focus on yourself, and just try to improve. And just, who were you yesterday? Are you doing better, the same, or worse than that? And, if you're doing the same, then that's probably okay. If you're doing worse, you probably want to change something up. And if you're doing better, then just keep going. And, eventually, if you really focus, eventually you'll just end up making so much progress, over like, 6 months or like a year, that you'll just be you'll be unrecognizable.